Hello everyone, I'm trying to try something new. I brought these watercolors from Boston to see if I could do any watercoloring, learn how to make it go. And I have some watercolor paper. Extra large watercolor paper. And let's just move this out of the way. Put this down. Let's just pretend I know what I'm going to do, which is asking a lot. I have a pen here, and maybe I'll just make some sort of goofy, that's what I'll do, I'll draw a goofy ship. I used to draw ships all the time when I was a kid, and I'll draw a goofy one now. I can tell my sleeve is going to get in the way. I don't know what I'm doing here. Clearly that's obvious to anyone watching. I just sort of want to try to remember how these things work. This watercolor works. I know that I can put wet on the paper first, so the ink is dissolving, and then I can go back in with a color. What color will I bring in here? The pink. And I know that I'm supposed to mix the colors first over on this thing. Hello, Juicy Louise. So now that's doing white on wet paper. Doing it on dry paper doesn't bleed. Does it? So I'm learning something here. You can also do wet on wet, where you add color on something that's already wet. How's my masterpiece going? I'm working in the dark here because if I turn on a light, the shadow might get in the way, but I'll turn it on and see. The what did you say here? Has done you a world of good. You seem refreshed. Well, you should have seen me before I turned the camera on. Now, what else can I do here on my masterpiece? My cubist boat masterpiece. I'll try to mix some sort of yellowy color. Now, normally, I suppose I would have a piece of paper to test out the color to see if the color is what I was hoping for before I apply it on the actual beautiful artwork. But anyway, this is kind of fun, as long as I'm not trying to copy something that's real. There's a piece of firewood in the backyard that I thought would be fun to draw paint. It's a piece of birch, and it has the brown, orangish brown wood of the interior, and then of course the white bark, which is also specks of black. So I think I may bring that out to the yard over here from the backyard and set it on the table and maybe try to render that. I know there's the people that actually do watercoloring for real. They're very good at creating a picture that takes an hour, and they keep on going over the same spot and the same spot and the same spot and building up little by little by little until they're done. And that's so unlike how I draw with a pen. You draw with a pen and it's there. It's the finished stroke is what you drew. Now I just ruined this beautiful picture by adding red. Did I have to do that? So I got a very nice, we'll call it fan letter from a fellow from Germany who has been a live observer of me here. Let me turn on this light. See if that helps any. What does help? It does help me see the colors I'm mixing. How can I get a nice deep blue? And it was very sweet. He felt that the things I do, videos I make are, I don't know if you used the word inspiring, but I think that was part of the implication, inspiring and also enlightening. Those aren't the words he used. I should probably just look it up on the phone and quote it exactly, but it was nice to hear. Now I know if I let this thing dry and go back and apply paint on top of areas once they're dry, it'll work better. But it's fun. It's fun to just play around with color and see what happens when you're doing it here. I should just practice mixing colors rather than trying to draw a boat. I've got 4 paintbrushes. You made this one. It would help if I could see. And why is that? I'm making a purple color here. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, this guy wants perhaps to buy a vintage pen from me, and he has a friend that lives in the United States, so that means I don't have to send it overseas and deal with that trauma. So that might be fun. What I might do is there's a book sitting around here with John Singer Sargent watercolors, and it might be fun maybe to try to copy what he did. I also think somewhere in this house is a how to paint watercolors book or two. My mom bought them for my father. Not that my father needed any sort of book to tell him how to make art. He was very good at it, regardless. But I think it wouldn't hurt me to try to learn things from a book. Anyone else have any? Who else is in the room? Where is that? Oh, I know where it is. I'll be right back. Don't go away. I have returned. So I have this book showing John Singer Sargent's art, and presumably there will be. I love the smell of this book. Presumably there'll be a. Well, here's some watercolors. How does he do it? Perfectly is how he does it. That's how he draws a ship. That's how it's supposed to be drawn. Here's a dame and her dress, her costume. So I think, let's see how many other watercolors are here. Oil paint, oil paint, oil paint. Here's the stuff he did for Boston. Picture of a naked man. Can't beat that. Not a lot of watercolors in this book. Actually, there are this one here of the tent. If I could, that picture in reality is just amazing. It almost looks like there's a light bulb behind the frame illuminating the inside of the tent. It's just beautiful. So maybe I'll try to copy some of those in some way. See if I can learn to mix colors. Here, whoops. See what happens. Learn to mix on the tray rather than on the brush or on the paper. Let's see what happens here. Still not entirely dry. Anyway, it's going to be fun. The guy I was talking about, this guy from Germany, he included a very beautiful watercolor. I think it's a self-portrait, not sure. And it sort of made me think, well, I'll take out the watercolors now rather than later. Meanwhile, I did get another request from someone here who wanted me to show where I am. Here's our house interior. That chair right there is where I sit almost the entire time I'm here. There's the lake. I will sit out here today once it gets a little warmer. My brothers and I last year created this patio, and the year before that we did this deck. And 3 Gustafson brothers trying to do something together is not easy. We get into little differences of opinion. And there's usually no winner. Anyway, it was nice having you visit. Does anyone have any question for me? Should I turn the camera around here? Oh my God, is that what he looks like? He's old. So, anyone have any questions about pens or watercolors, or I don't know anything about watercolors? I just proved that to you. More animations? Yes, I'm planning on doing others. I don't know if they're going to be done on the iPad or on a piece of paper and do stop action or what. But one of the things I thought I would try to learn this summer, is maybe how to use the new Dream Procreate Dream thing, which is an app for making animations. It's way more complicated than I need. And I met a guy at a drawing thing the other day, and he was using this very basic animation thing, and I have it, and I've tried doing things with it. Maybe I'll try that again. No, I won't give up. Okay, folks, I'll catch you later. Bye.